Let's dive right into this explainer because today we are unpacking a really powerful framework. We're looking at cultivating a vision for community problem solving. So often we look at the places where we live and work and we just see them as fixed, right? Like they're rigid, unchanging realities. But what if I told you that by mastering one simple act, cultivating a vision, we can completely reshape our surroundings? We're going to break this down piece by piece, moving way past those surface level observations to see exactly how quiet noticing turns into, well, meaningful structural action. So think about this for a second. What does your community actually need? Think about your own ordinary world right now. When you walk out your front door, or commute, or walk the halls of your school, what is fundamentally missing? As humans, we're incredibly adaptable. We really are. But that adaptation comes with a sneaky little cost, and that's routine blindness. We get so used to the way things are, the broken systems, the inefficient layouts, that we actually stop seeing the gaps altogether. The friction literally becomes invisible to us. But remember, everything around you that works beautifully today, it was once just an abstract idea in the mind of someone who noticed something was missing and decided, hey, it doesn't have to stay that way. All right, let's unpack the first half of our topic, cultivating a vision. Now, I know vision can sometimes sound like a corporate buzzword or some vague philosophical ideal, but I promise you it's not. It is a fundamental, radical shift in how your brain processes the world. Before you can solve a problem or honestly even realize a problem exists, you have to build this foundational framework. It's about actively reprogramming how you perceive things, looking right past the immediate physical reality and focusing on what could exist in the spaces in between. To put it simply, a vision is the act or power of anticipating that which will or may come to be in a community. It isn't just looking around with your physical eyes, it's foresight, and it's heavily grounded in empathy. Having a vision means you can stand in front of an abandoned, completely cracked concrete lot and clearly see a thriving community garden, long before a single seed is even planted. It's all about recognizing pure latent potential. You're basically projecting a better future right onto a flawed present. But notice the word we're pairing it with, cultivating, to promote or improve the growth of something through labor and attention. The source material here is very specific. It doesn't talk about just having a vision or suddenly finding one like a lost set of car keys. Cultivating is an agricultural term. It means getting your hands dirty. It's intentionally tilling the soil and consistently watering the seeds. It's an active, daily effort to grow an idea through real labor and deep attention. You have to be patient, and you have to be willing to nurture a concept even when the environment looks totally barren at first. Okay, so once we've built up that internal perceptive framework, we have to look outward. And that brings us to the second half, community problem solving. This right here is the essential bridge. We're linking that thoughtful internal act of having a vision directly to the external, tangible act of fixing things. Because, listen, a vision that's kept entirely inside your own head, no matter how brilliant it is, it doesn't change the world. It's just a daydream. For a vision to actually matter, it has to be rigorously applied to the structures and the people around us. So how do we define community problem solving? It's the collaborative process of finding solutions to friction within a shared environment. I want to highlight that word, friction. It is absolutely crucial. You see, problems in a community aren't always these massive, catastrophic, headline-making failures. Most of the time, they're just subtle friction points. The poorly designed intersection that slows everyone down, the lack of accessible resources that frustrates certain groups, or those outdated policies creating silent inequity. Our ultimate goal is to take that deep, cultivated observation we just talked about and turn it into precise action to smooth out that persistent friction. Now, here's a really fascinating contrast that our source material brings up: the community at large versus school students. Why is this distinction so vital? Well, it goes back to that routine blindness. The broader community, adults, seasoned professionals, city officials, they've been navigating the exact same friction points for years. Eventually, they just accept them as normal, unavoidable parts of life. But school students, they operate totally differently. They have a completely fresh, unburdened viewpoint. They haven't been conditioned yet to look at a broken system and say, well, that's just the way it is. And that leads us to this incredibly actionable mandate: identifying problems around us for school students. It makes it crystal clear that students are not just passive participants, waiting in the wings to grow up before their ideas matter. Absolutely not. They are uniquely positioned right now, today, to look around their immediate environments and pinpoint exactly what needs fixing. Because they don't have that deep-seated routine blindness, they're incredibly effective at spotting the inefficiencies that adults literally walk right past every single day. So the million-dollar question, how do we move from just passively looking to actively identifying? We have to make a deliberate transition from the macro concept of having a big vision down to the micro action of doing the daily work. Looking is passive. It's just letting light hit your retinas, right? But identifying, that is a highly active, deliberate choice. It's pointing a metaphorical finger at a situation and saying, right there, that is a specific, solvable issue, and we are going to fix it. To make this easier, we can break this conceptual act down into a super practical 3-step framework that anyone can use. Step 1 is observe. This means opening your eyes and just actively watching the flow of your environment without judging it right away. Where are people struggling? Where are the bottlenecks? Next is step 2, question. When you notice that friction, interrogate it. Ask, why is it designed like this? Or who is this hurting? And finally, step 3, identify. Clearly and concisely name the problem. Don't just say, lunchtime is chaotic. Say, the current cafeteria layout creates a physical bottleneck that prevents 20% of students from eating a full meal. See the difference? That is a rigorous, repeatable loop. And what's great is that this methodology builds organically. When we talk about identifying problems around us, you don't need to hop on a plane and solve a global crisis. You start exactly where you stand. The process begins at the micro level, the classroom. Look for friction right at your desk or with your peers. Once you master that, zoom out to the schoolyard. Look at the broader student body and the shared spaces. From there, you zoom out again to the neighborhood, the streets you walk, the local parks. Your sphere of influence naturally grows as your capacity for vision expands. Cultivating this kind of vision is so much more than just some abstract academic exercise. It's a call to adventure. It's a direct tool for structural empowerment. It allows students to fully realize their own agency in a world that, quite frankly, often tells them to just sit quietly and learn. By stepping into this framework, students become the proactive, empathetic problem solvers that their communities absolutely desperately need. They bring vital, fresh eyes to old, stagnant friction. It proves that creating impactful change doesn't require decades of experience. It just requires a willingness to actively pay attention. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this. What is the first problem you will identify today? Not tomorrow, not next year when you have a fancy degree or a new job title. Today. The challenge right now is to take the structured approach, step out into your ordinary world, and actively pinpoint one specific piece of friction that you have the power to change. The opportunity to reshape your environment is already out there. It's literally waiting in the spaces you navigate every single day.